Hey guys, Dr. Dave here, and welcome to another edition of the Streams of Income podcast. This may be a short one today. I'm not sure, but I wanted to run something by you. I've been doing KDP books for a very long time, and I was really excited when I first learned how to do it. And let's be honest, if you've been in KDP books for a while, you know what I'm talking about. In the old days, there was a lot more work to do to list a Kindle book. Talking different formats you had to put it into, ways that you had to attach pictures. I mean, it would take much, much longer in the old days. Some of my books that are still listed on KDP for sale are from those old days. I've been updating them slowly. Matter of fact, on my calendar every week, I don't always get to it, but it pops up as a to-do item. It says run an item through the grinder. And so that's just my own personal terminology for taking one of my products. And I love this format that I use, and you may want to use this, and you're more than welcome to copy this terminology because I copied it from somebody else. Matter of fact, I copied this from my buddy Travis Peters, and it's copy, paste, repeat. And so I've actually added a little bit to that: copy, paste, profit, repeat. And so what I like to do, my run through the grinder approach, is that I want to take something I've already created. And by running it through the grinder, I mean, let's take something already created, list it in another place, open up a completely new avenue of income. I don't consider this one another stream of income. I guess you could. It depends on how picky you want to get. But it's a product that's already been done. My stream of income for me, author. That's the stream of income: author, content creator, whatever. But I like to take something and open it up to a new income source. And so on KDP, that's what I'm working on right now. Eventually, I'm going to move some of this stuff into other places, such as like I'm going to take some artwork out of some of my books and maybe turn those into t-shirts on Spreadshirt. Or I may just turn some of the artwork into memes that I can use to help sell those books, all kinds of different things. But it's stuff that's already been created. And here's the great thing also is some of this I've been turning over to my VA. My VA, Red, who lives in the Philippines, is pretty amazing, especially with graphics. And so a lot of the graphic stuff I turn over to her and let her work her magic. And she does it so much faster and better than I do. But today, what I want to focus on is Amazon KDP. And so in the old days, it started out, you could do a Kindle book. And so that was just Kindle. I mean, in the old days, I think it was only available on a Kindle device. Now, with the advent of apps, you can get the Kindle app and read Kindle books anywhere. Laptop, desktop, phone, tablet, wherever you want to partake in the technology and the books, you can do it there and do that with the Kindle books. Then it branched out. Maybe it was at the same time. I don't really remember, but you could do print books. And by print, I mean paperback books on Amazon. And then eventually, within the past couple of years, Amazon got to the point where you could do affordable hardbacks. And so now most of my books, they have to be a certain length. I think it's 75 pages to produce a book in hardback, but it needs to be 75 pages. And all my books, when I order author copies to keep on the shelf, I like to do that myself. You probably do too if you're an author. If you write a book, it's nice to have it on the shelf to show people, to look at every now and then. Also, when I'm revising a book, I like to hold the hard copy in my hand because I look at it differently in my hands than I would if I was just looking at it on the computer and revising it. So I like to hold that hard copy, and I use it for that as well. But let's be honest, the hardbacks of any kind of book, any kind of book you have, if you like to read, if you like to collect, if you like to write, hardbacks are much prettier on the shelf. They look better, they stack better. They're just, order the hardbacks. And so you can create your Amazon KDP books. And by KDP, that I should have stated that up front. KDP means Kindle Direct Publishing. It's pretty much the terminology for anything you publish on Amazon, book-wise. And so we went from Kindle to paperback to hardcover, and now the new one, which I think it's still in beta. You can see my screenshot if you're on the YouTube version of this podcast. Let me go back up to the top, and there it is at the top. Audible audiobook with a virtual voice. And so that's still in the beta stages as I produce this podcast. But used to, it was a lot of hard work. I mean, once you got into it, you could get the flow pretty well, but producing an audiobook was not easy. And not everyone has a voice for audio. You may be listening to me now saying, this dude does not have a voice for audio. Or you might be listening to me and saying, this dude has an amazing audio voice. And so I'll just leave that up to you. That's your opinion. I'm on here regardless. And you're listening to me, so you must be okay with it. But producing an audio version of your book was not always easy, or it could get incredibly expensive. Well, Amazon is in beta mode right now, but they have created a system that is pretty amazing where you can produce it. They're using AI, and you can produce your books in audio using their virtual voice system. So I thought, you know what? This is mainly going to be for the YouTube people with the podcast, because you can see what I'm doing. But hey, if you're following along on audio right now, you'll still learn some things. It may open up an entirely new stream of income for you just listening to this and getting into it on your own. So first thing, obviously, you need to do if you're publishing books is have a KDP account. If you don't, then you must not be publishing books on Amazon. That part's obvious. And so if you need some help getting started on that part, you need to let me know, get in touch, or just Google some of that info about getting started on KDP. You know, you're setting up an account, writing your book, formatting, all that good stuff. As always, you can always hire me for a coaching session. I'm still doing the $99 brainstorming sessions for an hour, so you're welcome to do that. I guarantee you walk away with the ability to make way more money than you're going to pay me for that 1 hour brainstorming session. So hopefully you're already signed up, though, if you're listening to this. If you're not, just keep listening. Maybe I'll be able to talk you into the point where you're going to want to sign up. And so in case you didn't know, Amazon purchased Audible. I'm not sure when they did that, but they purchased Audible. And now anything Audible is available through Amazon. You still have to pay a little extra for the Audible subscription, but man, the stuff you could do there is quite amazing. And I just purchased a book the other day. I started reading it yesterday, called Black Sheep by, I think it Brent Menswar. It's an amazing book, but my friends keep telling me, man, you're going to enjoy that book, but you have got to buy the Audible version of it and listen to it. And apparently the author of Black Sheep actually has music and soundtrack and everything on the audio edition. Now, we're not going to do that today, but here's the thing. Audiobooks are making amazing strides right now, not only in what you can do with them, but in the audiences that are listening to them, because you can get the Whisper Sync, I believe it's called, on Amazon. I don't use some of the stuff, so that's why I'm a little iffy on the right terminology and everything, but you can set it up where, let's say you're listening to an Audible book in the house, on a desktop or from your TV even, and you go out to your car. Well, if you've got one of the Amazon Echoes or Amazon Dot in your car, it syncs it up, and you can start your book right back at the same place in your car. And so it's kind of neat. It's kind of convenient. I don't use a lot of that because I like the separation sometimes between tech and no tech. And to be honest with you, sometimes I just like to go no tech in a lot of ways. It's still pretty cool, though. And so let's go ahead and enter in this process. If you're watching on YouTube, you're going to see everything I'm doing on the screen share. If you're listening along, just take notes if you need to, and then check up on the YouTube version of this podcast later. But you can see here, this book that I'm going to mess with today is called The Real Pickens County Horror. And so Mike Mignola, the guy that created Hellboy, wrote a series of comic books quite a few years ago called the Pickens County Horror. And so it's set in the Hellboy universe. But the really neat thing about those books is that they take place near my house. And so in Pickens County, South Carolina, and there are actually settings within his books, in the comic books, that I can point to near my property, a town next door to my town that's actually visualized in the comic book. And so what I did is I have a hip campsite on my farm here. I'll talk about it a lot because it's really fun to operate. But I advertise my hip camp as the place where the Pickens County Horror part of it happened. And so I advertised my haunted barn where people can stay. And so what I did was I created this companion book